poppin', y'all? This is B Jizzle of the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Welcome to the #1 LA Clipper podcast out there. We want to first give you guys a shout out, LA Clipper fan, LA Clipper Nations, for being here. You guys will not be disappointed. We're going to be rewarding y'all for y'all loyalty, commitment to the #1 Clipper podcast on these YouTube streams. Share this podcast with your family and friends. They will not be disappointed, but let's get it popping because it's going to be a great one. With that being said, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull out peace. Out of here like swimwear.
Hey, mustard on the beat, ho, Debo, any rap nigga, he a free throw, man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro, nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. 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 But don't tell no lie about me, and I won't tell truths about you. Shoo! 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 Beep, 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 beep. You better walk around like Daft Punk. Remember? Hey, Top Dog, who the fuck they think they playing with? Extortion, my middle name as soon as you jump off of that plane, bitch. I'm allergic to the lame shit, only you like being famous. Yachty can't give you no swag neither. I don't give a fuck about who you hanging with. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. Surprised you wanted that feature request. You know that we got some shit to address. I even hate when you say the word nigga, but that's just me, I guess. Some shit just cringeworthy, ain't even gotta be deep, I guess. Still love when you see success. Everything with me is blessed. Keep making me dance, waving my hand, and it won't be no threat. I'm knowing they call you the boy, but where's the man? Cause I ain't seen him yet. Matter of fact, I ain't even bleed him yet. Can I bleed him? When I see you stand by sexy red, I believe you see two bad bitches. I believe you don't like women. It's real competition. You might pop ass with them. Let's speak on percentage. Show me your splits. I'll make sure I double back with you. You assigned to a nigga that signed to a nigga that said he was signed to that nigga. Try cease and desist on a like that record. Oh, what? You ain't like that record? Back to back. I like that record. I'ma get back to that for the record. Why would I call around trying to get dirt on niggas? Y'all thinking my life is rap? That's whole shit. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that. Waking them up, know nothing about that. Then tell them to pray, know nothing about that. Then giving them tools to walk through life like day by day, know nothing about that. Teaching them morals, integrity, discipline. Listen, man, you don't know nothing about that. Speaking the truth and consider what God's considering. You don't know nothing about that. Ain't 20v1, it's 1v20. If I gotta smack niggas that right with you, yeah, bring them out too. I clean them out too. Tell Bean that he better stay right with you. Am I battling ghosts or AI? Nigga feeling like Joel Austin. Funny, he was in a film called AI. And my 6 cents telling me to off him. I'm a blick niggas all in they coffin. Yeah, OB-ho niggas is dick riders. Tell them run to America to imitate heritage. They can't imitate this violence. What I learned is niggas don't like the West Coast, and I'm fine with it. I'll push the line with it. Pick a nigga off one at a time with it. We can be on a 3-hour time difference. Don't speak on the family, Crody. It can get deep in the family, Crody. Talk about me and my family, Crody. Someone go bleed in your family, Crody. I be at Newhall King eating fried rice with a dip sauce and a blammy, Crody. Tell me your cheesing farm. We can do this right now on the camera, Crody. Hey, fuck y'all niggas, I don't trust y'all niggas. I wave one finger and thump y'all niggas like, field goal punt y'all niggas, they punk y'all niggas. Nobody never took my food. Whoever that's fucking with them, fuck you niggas, and fuck the industry too. If you take it there, I'm taking it further. Psst, that's something you don't wanna do. Ooh. We don't wanna hear you say nigga no more. We don't wanna hear you say nigga no more. Stop.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos, hit that like button. Y'all come in here, hit the share, subscribe, hit that Cash App, $ BJ Matthews, $ BJ Matthews for all this great content. As we drop to you on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis as well. If you guys do not have Cash App, go to our Venmo, which is at BJ/MATHEWS/1. That's going to be our Venmo. That's going to be out as well. Also, if you guys do not have either one of those, you can also show your love to our super stickers and super comments that are available. All you guys got to do is very simple. Just hit that button that says the little cash $ symbol at the bottom of the right-hand corner, and you guys can show your love that way as well. And, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get the show popping. All right, y'all. So we are back with another show, and this is actually something that, definitely been anticipated, show I've been, I know a lot of people been waiting on. Now, this is a pre-recorded video. This is not an actual live. I know that, again, a lot of people have kind of wanted more lives, but we just did a live this morning. So I'm basically trying to get as many, these pre-recorded videos out here as I'm, continuously, getting ready for the season. We're already doing stuff in the off season with the Clippers. So I'm extremely busy, like 5-6 days out the week. So it's hard for me to sit down and, do an actual live. Because when I get down, I am tired. You hear me? So that's why I'm still gonna give y'all, the news and everything with the pre-recorded videos. It's just gonna be just as effective as it is as a live. But we're gonna talk about obviously this was a day that was gonna come. We got to talk about, Paul George's departure of PG and him actually speaking upon what happened in the negotiations, his conversation with Kawhi and things of that nature. We're not gonna get too much in the whole Philly thing. I've already kind of touched on about the Sixers, but we're gonna talk about what he recently, his episode just came out literally today, and I didn't really get a chance to really listen to it more than probably I haven't really got a chance to listen to the entire thing. So as I'm playing this video, playing this actual, podcast, this podcast from today, it's probably the second time I've watched it. And I'm not even kidding about that. It's probably the second time I've watched it, hearing it, this, that, and the other. And, I want y'all to kind of, hear what he had to say and kind of some of the things that I have to say about it as well. I had said, he was going to eventually say something about, what happened. It wasn't going to take much. It wasn't going to take long because y'all know PG's pretty transparent. He probably, he tries to talk about, situations and things that happen. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and watch this together. The clips about, first off, how the negotiations went with the Clippers and what actually happened, the specifics and things of that nature. We're going to get into that. And then after that, we're going to actually expound on it because I'm not going to really stop it. This whole segment, I'm gonna let it play, and after it plays, I'm gonna go ahead and give my analysis on it. I'm gonna give a few other situations compared to it, and y'all know my drill. So here we go.
All right, P, I understand you from LA and you just left a team with 3 other players from LA: James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook. And we know this had to be a hard decision leaving your boys and everything, but we know it's a business out here. So at the end of the day, you have to do this for your family. So I want to know, what was the negotiations like with the Clippers before and whatever through the discussion to let you know that, hey, I'm leaving y'all and I'm going to Philly?
Yeah. Just to put it out there, like, I never wanted to leave LA, right? Initially, I was not trying to leave LA. LA is home. This is where I wanted to finish at. I wanted to work as hard as possible to win one in LA. Like, that was the goal, to be here and be committed to LA. As it played out though, like the first initial deal was, I thought, kind of disrespectful, right? And again, in all of this, no hard feelings, no love lost, no, like, it's a business, like you said. So the first initial deal was like 2 years, 60. So I'm like, whoa. 2 years, 60?
Hey, that's crazy, bro.
That's great.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy.
So I'm like,
Wow.
no, I'm not signing that. Like, now we're getting into the negotiating. Like, no, I'm not taking that deal. And so they saying this, that, like, we want you and Kawhi here long term. Like, we want y'all to be here, all of this stuff, right? So then, as we're continuing to negotiate as the season goes on, and mind you, this was started before the season started. So this was kind of like, I could be wrong on actual timing, but this was maybe like October-ish, when negotiations.
So remember, I told you I wasn't gonna stop it while I lied. So I'm like already like not even a minute in having to stop it. But the reason why I did that is because that's one thing I did not know, that they start these negotiations this early, right? I did not know that the Clippers and Paul George started negotiations this early, dating back to October, according. And this is before the season started, right? So I want y'all to, I'm gonna tell y'all why that's so important in a minute, but I'm gonna let it continuously play.
Negotiations first started, and it was 260. And as we kept going, it was like, they would go up, inches, to where it was like 44, 45, right? But this was like a couple months in between before we got it to 40 something. So.
And I'm not so sure. I think he means 144, 145, because I mean, you don't go from 60 to 40. So I'm taking it. He's saying 140 to 145. They eventually got it to, that ballpark. So that's what I'm gonna take as his word. What they were offering him, 140, 145. So I'm gonna let it continue.
I'm still like, nah, I'm not doing that. Then I hear wind of like, what they're gonna give Kawhi. So I'm like, just give me what Kawhi got. Like,
right.
Y'all view us the same. Like, we came here together. We want to finish this shit together. I'll take what Kawhi got. Like, no
cool
problem. I was cool with that. Like,
wow.
And we were still taking less. We were taking less. Wow. Kawhi took less. I was like, if Kawhi gonna take less, I'm not gonna say I want more than Kawhi. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it's not about me being paid more than him. Like, I'm gonna take what he got. Y'all give him that, give me that. They didn't want to do that. So this was before the All-Star break. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want, like, let's not even have no more conversations. Like, let's just play this year out. Cause it was starting to get into like my mood. Now I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to have that energy carry over into the team.
On the court.
So, cause I could see it starting to bleed a little bit into the team where I was just like disconnected. I didn't want to fuck with nobody. Like, I was kind of just, kind of to myself a little bit. So I was like, man, let's just let this shit play out. Let me get to the end of this year and we'll discuss this again. We'll pick up, conversations again. So we do that, right? Season in, I finished healthy. 74 games played.
Yep.
And had one of my most efficient seasons. So now we go into negotiations. Now they bring it to 3 years.
Where we at?
150. So basically around what they gave Kawhi. So a part of me was still like, all right, that's cool. It sucks that it had to get to this point, like that we couldn't get this figured out a lot sooner, but
way early, right?
Now we at the end of the year, 3 years, 150. So I'm like, all right, like now we're in a ballpark. You know what I mean? Now we can have conversation here. And again, it still wasn't about the money. Because when I went back to have the negotiation at the end of the year, I presented the 150, no trade. Because in the meeting, they're like, we want you here long term. We want to, when you're retired, we want you to be a Clippers for a lifetime, like all of this stuff. We want you to be here. We want you to be a Clippers your whole career. So I'm like, cool. Give me the 3 years, 150, no trade then. Like no trade clause. Then I'm taking less, but at least I know I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm committed to y'all. Like they didn't want to do the no trade.
Do that? Wow.
So then now I'm like, all right, well then it only makes sense for me to do 4 years, 212, right?
Yeah.
Like at least pay me my money. If y'all gonna trade me, then y'all gonna trade me. But at least like now I'm not in a situation where I could have got more had I just gone to free agency. Then take this deal and then y'all could just ship me wherever I want. And then now I'm on this deal that I didn't want.
Right.
So they didn't want to do that. So then I was like, now I'm open to entertaining what's out there. And then, I mean, through the negotiations, they wasn't budging. They weren't gonna budge. I wasn't gonna budge. I thought I played well enough for them to, be like, you know what? He's a part of our future. Like, I thought I did that. I thought I earned that. Granted, we didn't win while I was there, but luck has a lot to do with that. We couldn't remain healthy as a unit. But I thought I did enough to earn that
money.
They didn't want to do it. So it was just a stalemate. We came to a stale, and ultimately it was like, all right, that ship has sailed. Like, at that point, it was like, man, I love Steve, I love Lawrence, but at that point, it didn't even feel right to come back with that type of energy and be comfortable playing back in LA.
What did Steve say to you?
I mean, you know, it's taking his word. You know what I mean? In that situation, it's taking his word. Like, no, I don't want to trade you. That's not the reason I want to resign you. Which I get, you know, and I understand, and I don't know. Steve is a good dude. Like, you know, I love Steve as an owner, one of the best owners that I played for. But you know, it's a business. Like, you can't. I won't take nobody's word if they can't put it in writing.
Right.
Yeah.
Looks great.
His word if they can't put it in writing.
Right. Yep. Can't take nobody's word if it ain't in writing. I like that.
So as y'all come here, smash the like button. So that was about a 2.5 minute spill from Paul George, speaking about the negotiations that happened with the Clippers. And like I said, I'm gonna give my thoughts about all this when I allow everybody kind of talk and finish, because I do want him to talk about the also Dallas is finna get ready to ask him a question, and I'm saying I want him to y'all to hear about what he's actually with Kawhi. Of course, again, this is I'm hearing some of this stuff for the first time as I'm watching it with y'all, so I'm kind of digesting it. So that's why I'm stopping it, trying to saying that's because I'm just doing this all off off the rip, off the head, so I can have all my thoughts ready to give to y'all when I'm ready to give it. But I'm listening to most of this stuff for the first time, just like y'all are, if y'all had a chance to listen to it earlier today. But let's hear what Dallas had to talk about with PG, with question you had to ask. So here we go.
Is it difficult, P, for players like yourself? Because as you mentioned all that, I'm curious. It is a business, but you're also treading that line where it can kind of feel like personal. How do you kind of navigate those conversations and remove that emotion kind of out of it, like not taking it personally and understanding that it's business? Because I would guess that can be hard at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah. No, I mean that's why I had to stop the negotiations during the season, because it was personal. Like, that's how y'all view me. You know what I mean? Which is fine. Like, in all of this, that's why it's no love lost, no hard feelings. Like, if that's how y'all view me, fine. That's cool. Now I got to go somewhere else. It's nothing wrong with that. Like
you said, they say it's business. You say
it's business. Yeah,
too.
it's business. I got to do what's best for me and my family. If that's how y'all view me and that's where my value is, then no hard feeling. Like, I'm gonna go where I'm appreciated at.
At the end of the day, who life is it?
It's business. Like, I wasn't. I was torn a little bit because of the I don't know, just the history we had this past 5 years. Shit I was playing through, like injuries and stuff I was playing through. I was everything I had. We had some good ups, we had some downs. But I thought, again, I thought I deserved more than, especially for the first initial contract. Like the first initial conversation.
It's hard to not take that personal, like,
bro.
That's I understand negotiations too. It's a business. You gotta maybe start down here and we'll end up here. But that's a
pretty
low starting point to just throw that on the table and show your cards like that.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Right.
So
that was like that part you can't never like overlook. Like, that's really how y'all felt. And so that kind of just was like, you know what else is out there? But it was tough, bro. It was tough conversations.
I can't imagine.
It was tough conversation. That's why it was so stressful. Like this whole week and a half was a very stressful week and a half.
I wish we could have helped negotiate when he was here. I would have just been like, Steve, this is what you need.
So I guess what Jackie Long is talking about is Jerry West. So RIP to Jerry West. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that actually, as I'm kind of, like I said, I'm hearing everything. I'm going to mention him when I'm finished. We finish hearing this, but I think Jackie's talking about Jerry West because he was on the show as well. So that was the was the consultant for the Clippers. All-time great, top 75 player, Jerry West, top 50 player, honestly. And Jerry West, he was on the podcast, and I guess he was joking. Jackie Long was joking about negotiating while he was there. But let's keep going.
We should have brought our own
First
contract.
of us, put us involved. And then after that, I'm gonna tell you, it
was a great selling though. Like I went and saw the Intuit Dome. Like they walked me through everything, how it's gonna look. And Intuit is damn near done. So it was cool to see it kind of firsthand. Everything, the facility, the building is crazy.
Like, I went from Laker to Clipper.
We in Philly?
That's I'm Philly.
Good?
I mean,
hey.
But I'm embracing the new change. I love the new change.
I'm Philly now, my new team.
P, you mentioned how just stressful these last couple of weeks have been for you, going through all your options. How did you manage that stress? Did you do anything different throughout those weeks, or did you talk to anybody? What did you do just for that, your personal peace while you were going through the decision-making process?
Yeah. You know what was helpful? So me, Aaron, YT, we took a little trip down to Cabo ourselves, right? One weekend. And, this was already, in the beginning stages of us negotiating with Clippers. And so I was like, you know what? I just need to get away. Like, let's go somewhere where we can just, vibe out, play golf, chop it up. The finals was going on at the time, so watch basketball games by the pool. Like, we was just on a cool little trip. And that was like the piece I needed going into all the free agency talks. Was just a chance to sit back, kind of evaluate everything, let everything play out. Before ultimately it was just like I'm comfortable with the decision. Like I think at that point is when the first time I was comfortable with like, all right, if I'm not in LA, what would that look like? And it was tough though. Like I had to have conversations with Daniela. I had to have conversations with my parents. My parents was like, man, son, go where you appreciate it. Like, don't worry about us. Daniela, the same thing. Like, we'll follow you. Don't worry about us.
It's awesome.
Yeah, which was very helpful. The only part that was pulling me back was the kids. That was the only part pulling me back into that situation was the kids. But, ultimately you just gotta, you gotta make the right decision. Just what was best. And again, people gonna think like, oh, he did it for the money. Like it wasn't initially about the money because I was going to take less to stay with. Why? Mm-hmm. Less money, less years. I was down to do both until. Mm-hmm. And then now it's like, man, I'm not like, take less for what now?
Yeah.
People probably didn't notice though, Pete. This ain't your first time playing in the Eastern Conference, but this is your first time living on the East Coast because Indiana was Midwest.
You hit me with that earlier.
Come on.
I thought you fucked up.
And then OKC, you know what I'm saying?
Bunky with a riddle.
You been on the I'm just saying.
I was thinking like, where is this going?
Like
no, you're right.
They was just in the Eastern Conference. That's all. You know
it's a good point.
That's a good point. Great point.
On the East. I'm just saying.
Geography head ass.
So how you feel about that though?
All right, so y'all come in as like I said, hit the like button as y'all come in. We're talking about Paul George's departure from the Clippers. We're serious. We're just really pretty much watching the key parts. Like I said, for people that's just coming in, this is my first time even really hearing, a lot of this. So I'm just gathering my thoughts about what to kind of, explain to y'all. But now we're going to get into the conversation. I know y'all want to hear about what PG and Kawhi had to say amongst each other. So we're going to kind of hear what PG had to say with Kawhi and, what that whole conversation and what that dialogue was. Dallas is about to ask him that question. So yeah, y'all listening.
P, I want to know, did you have any conversations with Kawhi before you made the decision to leave the Clippers? When did you have that conversation and how did it go?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I owed Kawhi that conversation. I called him up and was just like, man, listen, I think I'm gonna go elsewhere. Like conversations with the Clippers didn't go how I wanted to. I kind of broke down how I told you guys how it all played out. And we had that conversation and I was like, man, like I gotta do what's best. And he understood. He like, go get your bag. Like, P, go get your bag. Like,
I,
I can't even be mad at you. So I thought, and I look at Kawhi as one of my best friends in this league. Somebody that I fuck with. Like, our families, love each other. So it was tough to leave him. Just with how much I enjoyed being out there with him. That was one of a big decision too that weighed a lot on me. Was just, damn, I'm leaving my boy, like leaving why. But I had to have that conversation with him. We talked, and he gave me his blessings of like, man, just go do what's best for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever had the conversation on the podcast, but if you wouldn't mind rewinding a little bit and kind of taking us through the origin story of you and Kawhi actually joining the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you remember most about that time?
Yeah, I get flack for this too, right? Like, people give me shit for this too, of thinking I was the reason that Thunder team broke up, which was not the case. Again, it was me having to do what was best for me in that situation. So after Toronto wins, right?
Right.
Y and them win it, I text Y. Congrats, bro. I think he ended up calling me right after. What you gonna do? What you mean? Like, what you gonna do? Like, you comfortable there? You good there? I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, I just resigned. Like, yeah, we gonna try to do this shit next year. Like, he like, nah, I hear people trying to get out of there. Let me call you back. That was the initial start of that conversation. And then me and him was just working on how can we make this happen. And I was close to going to Toronto. Like, we were deciding to go to Toronto or the Clippers. Ultimately, the Clippers put something better, a better package together, a better trade package together that sent me to LA. But I was close. He was going to re-sign to Toronto and we was going to go to Toronto. That was the origin and the beginning of that story. And it was just a whirlwind of how it played out.
It seems like yesterday, which is crazy.
It does.
Like, if you really, I remember Kawhi getting off that plane, and it was talk about a wild time in the NBA offseason.
It was a whirlwind of how that shit played out. That shit was a lot, figuring out how to get me to LA, but we made it happen.
So, P, I heard a little birdie during that.
All right, y'all. So now that we've heard pretty much all the origins, we heard about, the trade, we heard about, the negotiations, the talk with Kawhi, you know what I'm saying, the Golden State situation. Now I'm going to go ahead and replay those same parts, but I'm going to give my analysis. So there's going to be definitely more stopping here and there. So make sure y'all smash the like button. Y'all come in here. All right, so let's revisit some stuff.
Understand you from LA and you just left a team with 3 other players from LA, James Harden, Kawhi, Leonard, Russell Westbrook. And we know this had to be a hard decision leaving your boys and everything, but we know it's a business out here. So at the end of the day, you have to do this for your family. So I want to know, what was the negotiations like with the Clippers before and whatever through the discussion to let you know that, hey, I'm leaving y'all and I'm going to Philly.
Yeah. Just to put it out there, like, I never wanted to leave LA, right? Initially, I was not trying to leave LA.
So first nugget, he said it. He don't want to leave LA. He never wanted to leave LA. Basically, he wants to be on the West Coast. His family's here, blase. I'm pretty sure a lot of us knew that already. I just wanted to re-echo that. This move to Philadelphia, I don't believe and as he already said it in the podcast, the plan was not to go back out of LA after getting there. The plan wasn't to re-up his family again after he settled in being at home. That was not the plan at all. So when he says he never wanted to leave LA, I mean, that should be first off the rip. Like I've said before, with a lot of people who are from out here and who's from LA or from California, Southern California, you ask a person from out here if they move or if they leave, do they end up coming back? And I guarantee you more than about 85 to 90% of people come back to California at some form of capacity. If you're really from out here, right? If you're really from out here, then you most likely, if you move to like say Arizona or Texas or East Coast or the South or the Midwest, and you end up being there, you already want to kind of come back home. So that was already initial. He never wanted to leave here in the first place. But like I said, we're about to talk about in a minute. When you push somebody to a limit where they feel disrespected, then they will jump off that bridge. So let's keep going.
Is home. This is where I wanted to finish at. I wanted to work as hard as possible to win one in LA. Like that was the goal, to be here and be committed to LA. As it played out though, like the first initial deal was, I thought, kind of disrespectful, right? And again, in all of this, no hard feelings, no love lost, no like, it's a business, like you said. So the first initial deal was like 2 years, 60. So I'm like, whoa. 2 years, 60?
Hey, that's crazy, bro.
That's great.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So I'm like,
Wow.
no, I'm not signing that. Like, now we're getting into the negotiating. Like, I'm not taking that deal. And so they saying this, that, like, we want you and Kawhi here long term. Like, we want y'all to be here, all of this stuff, right? So then, as we're continuing to negotiate as the season goes on, and mind you, this was started before the season started. So this was kind of like, I could be wrong on actual timing, but this was maybe like October-ish, when negotiations first started, and it was 260. And as we kept going, it was like, they would go up, inches, to where it was like 44, 45, right?
So, as y'all come to smash the like button. Wow. So, put this on the floor. So there's it is right here. This is obviously, they're already putting stories out this right now. PG reveals 2 years, $60 million contract offer wasn't enough to be there. So 2 years, $60 million is $30 million a year, right? PG said that this was negotiations starting at the beginning of the season. This wasn't even, the season ain't even started. He said October was pretty much a timeline. So the season ain't really even started yet. And they're offering him a contract. Obviously, this is his last season with the Clippers. When you're in a player option, usually teams want to set up a deal right there. And then, as y'all can see in the first column, is $48 million that he was going to be, getting paid this year. But next year, going to next year, they have to, negotiate a new contract. So 2 years, $60 million was the first initial contract. And of course, again, this is just business. Shout out to the realist for that phrase. It's about, that's business. Well, obviously in the business negotiation before the season even start. This is when preseason is getting ready to start. And, of course, probably the first week of the NBA season starting. This is what they're offering Paul George. There was a report that came out at the end of the season where they offered him multiple contracts. Well, obviously this was the first contract they offered him, was 2 years, $60 million. Now, PG took that as being disrespectful. Now, I'm going to ask y'all in the chat. I want y'all to be completely honest. Put away your personal feelings, your emotions. Do you think Paul George, the caliber player he is worth 2 years, $60 million? I'm asking that question because, see, we never knew the actual figures of those contracts and those offers. I knew from the start of the season, or from the time Kawhi got signed in January, he was getting offers on the table. And a lot of people were saying that the Clippers did not give him anything. I said, no. They're giving him offers. How much they're giving him, I don't know yet, but they are giving him offers. Because I told y'all, I have a source that actually went to high school with PG. He's one of his close friends. And he said, PG, as he relayed in the podcast, I'm going to go ahead and focus on the rest of the season. So they offered him 2 years, $60 million. So you all feel like he's worth 2 years, $60 million. And of course, I'm asking that as a rhetorical question because what's funny is the guy that they just signed, they gave him a 2 year, $70 million contract. And that's James Harden. They gave James Harden a 2 year, $70 million contract. And people say that was a pay cut, but in reality, nobody was going to offer James Harden a bigger deal. Now, anybody who has any sense knows that James Harden is not a better player than Paul George. We saw it this season. Paul George was the second option on his team, sometimes even the first option. And James Harden was not the option. He was the third option. He was the facilitator. He was coming off a Philadelphia team where they wouldn't pay him a certain amount of money. James Harden is 35 years old. He's in his, tail end of his career. Still very, very, useful player in moments, in spot moments. But as far as an entire season, he's not as valuable as PG both sides of the court. He doesn't move the needle both sides of the court, and that's why PG's getting more of a bigger deal. This 2 year, $70 million deal is more than what the Clippers initially offered Paul George. So you ask yourself, what would presume Lawrence Frank to feel like that was an acceptable deal to offer? Now, I understand you offer somebody, you start low if you're a company or a business. But PG looked at it as being disrespectful. That's not the first time we've heard a player say that the Clippers offered them something disrespectful. We saw Patrick Beverley before he left, the Clippers offering him something disrespectful as well. And Patrick Beverley had to leave the team. We've heard Chris Paul, we've heard Blake Griffin, we've heard other players in this some of the Clipper greats feel disrespected by what the Clippers do. The front office has done. So as time went up more and more, they offered him more and more, and they finally got to 140, 145. That's why I'm taking their offering him. Well, Kawhi obviously got the 3 year, $152 million. And people were just saying, take this contract, take that contract. So Kawhi gets his contract extension in January. What happens in January? Why did he get that deal? Because December was pretty much one of our better months, probably the best month of the season. And Kawhi Leonard led the charge. He was probably the MVP candidate. He was the Defensive Player of the Year candidate at that 1 month, and the Clippers offered him that deal in January, which actually, in Kawhi's terms, is a pay cut in itself. But PG, they're at the point where they're about the 3 year, 140, 145. Now you would think, okay, well, that's pretty close. Why not just accept that? So let's continuously hear what he had to say in terms of that.
But this was like a couple months in between before we got it to 40 something. So I'm still like, nah, I'm not doing that. Then I hear wind of like, what they're going to give Kawhi. So I'm like, just give me what Kawhi got. Like,
right.
Y'all view us the same. Like, we came here together. We want to finish this shit together. I'll take what Kawhi got. Like, no problem. I was cool with that. Like, wow. And we were still taking less. We were taking less. Wow. Kawhi took less. I was like, if Kawhi gonna take less, I'm not gonna say I want more than Kawhi. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it's not about me being paid more than him. Like, I'm gonna take what he got. Y'all give him.
So, as y'all come to smash the like button. So, obviously, we reached a new point where Paul George is talking about they reached a 144, 145 deal. Now, when you talk about why he didn't take the 144, $145 million deal, there's a couple things that go through my mind. And like I said, I'm just listening to all this stuff off the rip. I'm going to watch this, later, but I had to release this video. PG obviously feels that he didn't feel like the Clippers really believed in him. And he's going to say that, later on, but the Clippers obviously did not want to give him the same thing initially they gave Kawhi Leonard in January. And remember, Kawhi Leonard didn't get a contract either until he played. He had to prove he was healthy. Both of these guys had to prove themselves before they got their deals. Right? If they felt like Kawhi Leonard was worth all this off the rip, they would have gave it to him, in October. They didn't do that. They had to wait until January after he had that great month in December to give him a 3-year, $150 million deal, which really was a pay cut. The first 2 months in October and November, Paul George was the best player on the team. I don't know if y'all remember that, but Kawhi was trying to get himself back into shape. There was a game against the Orlando Magic. He had 8 points. I was at that game. It was like, I think October. I think it was on Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. Kawhi Leonard had 8 points. The first month and a half, Paul George is not only the best player on the team, he was looking like a guy who was the best player in the league for like the first month or month and some change of the season. So obviously that continuously increased the amount of money he was getting offered. But initially, neither guy was getting anything. But Kawhi Leonard had such a dominant month, they gave him that $152.4 million extension. 3 years. PG looking at it like, well, okay, just give me what Kawhi got then. Y'all view us the same. Y'all feel like y'all want us here together. Why not just give me Kawhi what he got? So they basically he was testing their hand to see, okay, do y'all really believe in me or not? Do y'all believe in me or not? I've been having just as much of a dominant season as Kawhi has. I've been the best. I have been carrying this team. If you think about the last 5 seasons, I've been carrying this team when Kawhi Leonard has been out for the last 5 years. Right? So just give me what Kawhi got and we can call it even. They didn't want to do that. And then you're going to hear what PG had to do after that when they didn't want to, kowtow that. But here we go and continue.
Give me that. They didn't want to do that. So this was before the All-Star break. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want, let's not even have no more conversations. Let's just play this year out. Cause it was starting to get into my mood. Now I'm, you know what I mean? I didn't want to have that energy carry over into the team.
On the court.
So, cause I could see it starting to bleed a little bit into the team where I was just disconnected. I didn't want to fuck with nobody. I was kind of just, kind of to myself a little bit. So I was like, man, let's just let this shit play out. Let me get to the end of this year and we'll discuss this again. We'll pick up, conversations again. So we do that, right? Season in, I finished healthy. 74 games played. Yep. And had one of my most efficient seasons. So now we go into negotiations. Now they bring it to 3 years.
Where we at?
150. So basically around what they gave Kawhi. So a part of me was still like, all right, that's cool. It sucks that it had to get to this point, that we couldn't get this figured out a lot sooner.
So, i.e., I still don't trust that y'all believe in me like y'all are supposed to. Again, we got to put things in context. You give Kawhi a 3-year, $152 million extension. And we got to call a spade a spade. The Clippers believe in Kawhi Leonard more than Paul George. That is obvious. They gave him a deal after just 1 month of showing himself to be who he was. And it took PG going throughout the entire season to get the 3-year, $150 million deal as well. And that's why he's still skeptical. My thing is that you went through all this throughout the whole season. I'm talking about the Clippers front office, evaluating, searching, seeing if he can stay healthy for an entire season. Even though you didn't do that with Kawhi. Kawhi gets hurt, and he doesn't finish the playoffs because y'all think that he's going to finish the regular season, but he doesn't get to the playoffs. He doesn't finish. And now here y'all back at square one again, trying to determine, okay, did we give him the money too soon? That's when people say when they gave Kawhi the money kind of messed things up. I never particularly cared about that because I think Kawhi Leonard, you pay him based off of the caliber player he is. Because at the end of the day, the Clippers, that's who they pretty much have to roll with. But my only thing is that you should have done it together. If you're going to pay Kawhi Leonard that money, you should pay Paul George what he's asking for as well. Which it looks like he just wanted the same amount as Kawhi. But deep down, nobody wants to say it. Paul George has done more for the Clippers nation, the Clippers organization than Kawhi Leonard has. Yes, Kawhi Leonard is the better player. Yes, he has the better resume as far as the championships. But as far as what he's done with the Clippers through this tenure, and really in general, recent, he's been the more healthier player. He's taken us farther in the playoffs. He's accomplished more as far as the accomplishments, three-pointers made in Clippers history. You know what I'm saying? He had his best efficiency season this year. All this that he wasn't efficient and all this stuff, that's when people actually want to make this narrative up that he's just such a, inefficient player. The dude shot 47, 41, and 90% from the field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage. He had his most efficient year this season this year. He shot the shit out the ball throughout the entire year. There was games he guarded the opposing player's best player. And we had, towards the end of the season, here's something else. When Kawhi Leonard was hurt, and this is why I think the Clippers finally got their head out their ass, when he actually showed he was the best, he can actually carry. Remember those games that we had to win in order for us to be in the top 4, top 5 seed? Paul George against the Denver Nuggets when Kawhi Leonard was out. We beat them when they had Jokic. When Jokic had that monster game, Paul George is able to lead them past that team without Kawhi Leonard on the court. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers where Paul George had that monster game. They came back for, I think, 20 points, right? Paul George led the team that game. Against the Phoenix Suns, without Kawhi Leonard, they won that game. They actually had a winning record without Kawhi Leonard. Did y'all know this? They had a winning record without Kawhi Leonard this year. They were 7-4. 3 of those games, I know it's going to say 7-7, but 3 of those games, the Stars didn't even play. That was towards the end of the season. And, the starters didn't even play those 2 because we already locked up a 4th seed. As y'all come here, smash that like button. But the Clippers obviously gave him the deal after all that nonsense. They finally gave and said, okay, you're worth the 3-year, $150 million deal. And what PG's saying is basically you should have thought about that shit the whole time. Why would you wait until the end of the season to pay me what you're going to pay the same with Kawhi Leonard? You said you wanted us here together. Why did you wait this long? So now he's saying to himself, do y'all still really believe in me? So what he's going to do is force their hand even more. Because if you look at the statistics Paul George and Kawhi had this year, they're pretty much similar. They were pretty similar. Paul George made 22 points per game. Kawhi Leonard made 23 points per game. Kawhi had 6 rebounds per game. PG had 5 rebounds per game. They both were pretty much similar on assists, 3.5, 3.6. Went to Kawhi Leonard. Field goal percentage, of course, we know Kawhi Leonard is more efficient than Paul George. Kawhi shot 52%. PG shot 47%. But PG shot, I think, 41% from the 3, and he shot 90% from the line, which is better than what Kawhi Leonard shot. Or 91% from the line. He played more games this year. They're different, but they're similar in certain ways. They're both wings, but they do certain things that the other person can't do. Kawhi Leonard obviously is more efficient. He obviously takes better shots. He's obviously the more powerful player. He can do things that PG can't do. PG plays, he takes a lot more inefficient shots. He doesn't use his strength to, take better efficient shots. That's Kawhi's game. But something that PG has that Kawhi doesn't have is that Kawhi doesn't know how to operate on the perimeter like PG does. He can't. He doesn't have the range that PG does. He doesn't have the athleticism that PG does. That's why they both complement each other so well when they were on the court together. The problem is that because they were on the court as enough, it makes it look like that this wasn't going to work. But as y'all can see on the screen, I'm going to keep showing it. They had a 66% winning percentage. There was no other duo that matched better than these two outside of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But back to the point. PG kept pushing the line. He said, okay, I'm going to see how much you really believe in me. So let's see what he said after that fact. Y'all hear this part.
But
way early, right?
Now we at the end of the year, 3 years, 150. So I'm like, all right, like now we're in a ballpark. You know what I mean? Now we can have conversation here. And again, it still wasn't about the money. Because when I went back to have the negotiation at the end of the year, I presented the 150 no trade. Because in the meeting, they're like, you know, we want you here long term. We want to, you know, when you're retired, we want you to be a Clippers for a lifetime, like all of this stuff. We want you to be here. We want you to be a Clippers your whole career. So I'm like, cool. Give me the 3 years, 150, no trade then. Like no trade clause. Then I'm taking less, but at least I know I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm committed to y'all. Like they didn't want to do the no trade.
Do that?
Wow.
So then now I'm like, all right, well then it only makes sense for me to do 4 years, 212, right?
Yeah.
Like at least pay me my money. If y'all gonna trade me, then y'all gonna trade me. But at least like now I'm not in a situation where I could have got more had I just gone to free agency, then take this deal and then y'all could just ship me wherever I want. And then now I'm on this deal that I didn't want.
Right.
So they didn't want to do that.
Wow. This is unbelievable. So they get to the point where they finally reach 3 year, $150 million deal. And like old man, I'm gonna give old man respect. Old man was the first person to say this. He said eventually they're gonna come to a deal, a negotiation deal. And they were gonna meet somewhere in the middle, where they finally did, as far as the numbers are concerned. But PG said, okay, I got one more thing I need to ask. Because I don't trust y'all. Go ahead and give me a no trade clause, meaning you can't trade me from the team. You guys cannot trade me. And the reason why he's asking for that, because again, he's true. And this is also coming from his agent. See, that's why I say he has a great agent, because he's actually seeing through the bullshit. He's telling PG, like, look, and he's telling the team, look, if you truly believe in me, give me what you know what I'm saying? Put yourself in a position where you have to actually give me something. Because I already feel like you guys did all this shit after I've already proven playing through injuries. My resume should have already been enough for y'all to give me what y'all get. And this was before the playoffs. Okay, this is why this whole playoff shit don't matter to me. That's why I don't want to hear nothing about no 19 points per game and none of that shit, because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown averaged the same amount of points in the finals, and they blew the doors off the Dallas Mavericks. Jason Tatum averaged 21 points. Jaylen Brown averaged 20 points. And they beat the shit out the team, the same team that PG had 19 points per game win. The same series. So they were getting ready to offer him, so I don't want to hear nothing about no playoffs. See, y'all can't fool me with this bullshit. This was something the Clippers front office and Lawrence Frank getting in their own way again. You went through all this trouble. You finally get a deal on the table. Then you ask for the no trade clause. I mean, you can't fuck me over. You don't want to give me a no trade clause. Fine. Okay, give me a 4-year deal then. So if you trade me still, I'm giving you And this is why I say you can't say that he fucked up franchise because he's giving them options. They don't want to budge on anything. They didn't want to they gave him a contract trying to basically say, they finally give him a contract after he proved himself the whole year, see that he can be healthy and that he had his best shooting splits. They finally get on that stint. Then, okay, well, make sure y'all still put that no trade clause in because I still feel I don't trust y'all. I don't think Kawhi Leonard has a no trade clause. I'm not sure. I think they can still trade him, but PG's obviously using with some more wisdom. You guys are not fucking me over. I've talked to Patrick Beverly. I'm pretty sure he talked to other players that he's not going to get fucked over. This is my last big contract. Y'all not finna fuck me over. So then they'll just give me the 4-year extra deal then. Give me the 4-year then. Because if y'all gonna trade me, not be by y'all word like y'all done in the past, at least I'm good. You didn't want to do that. So now it's time for me to, okay, y'all don't feel like I can get another contract somewhere else. Okay, I got you. So let's see what he had to say after that.
So then I was like, now I'm open to entertaining what's out there. And then, I mean, through the negotiations, they wasn't budging. They weren't gonna budge. I wasn't gonna budge. I thought I played well enough for them to, be like, you know what? He's a part of our future. Like, I thought I did that. I thought I earned that. Granted, we didn't win while I was there, but luck has a lot to do with that. We couldn't remain healthy as a unit. But I thought I did enough to earn that.
To earn that money.
They didn't want to do it. So it was just a stalemate. We came to a stale, and ultimately it was like, all right, that ship has sailed. Like, at that point, it was like, man, I love Steve, I love Lawrence, but at that point, it didn't even feel right to come back with that type of energy and be comfortable playing back in LA.
What did Steve say to you?
I mean, it's taking his word. You know what I mean? In that situation, it's taking his word. Like, I don't want to trade you. That's not the reason I want to resign you, which I get. And I understand, and I don't know. Steve is a good dude. Like,
right.
I love Steve as an owner, one of the best owners that I played for. But it's a business. Like, I won't take nobody's word if they can't put it in writing.
Bar. And how could you get mad at that? How could you get mad when somebody tells you, I'm not taking your word unless it's put in writing? Shit, regular human beings say that who have their own jobs. He basically said, because even when they're going through these negotiations, and this was just a couple weeks ago, Clipper fans were even saying, just sign him to his last deal and just go ahead and trade him. Man, PG ain't stupid, man. His agent ain't stupid. These guys that people try to play their they're not stupid. He may he may take stupid shots in the game, but as far as he has a team around him, bro, like Aaron Mintz, like I said, has a lot of high value profile players. They were not going to fall for that nonsense. I can't trust you. You didn't want to give me a deal that I had to work for the entire year. You pretty much held me up for the entire year to the point where I said, just don't even worry about us even negotiating, which I actually said it initially before all that came out. He was just going to focus on the season. I showed the text messages between me and my connect that he was just going to focus for the entire season. That comes out after the season's over. The playoffs are over. Because now you're showing me that you think that I'm not as valuable as you guys claim you guys do. As y'all say. So when he said, well, I won't take it unless it's done, he was absolutely right. Because these organizations could have traded his ass and then nobody would have said nothing about it. They said, yeah, they made the right. So he did the right thing by going out there and not taking his word for it. Especially with the history the Clippers have had with basically either lowballing their players. And I know this is an organization I work for, but like I said, I don't have to kiss ass. We know and even with people, I've even heard Clipper people talk about, their front office will lie to the fan base. You guys are the same fans that sit up there and say, well, damn, y'all don't even tell us when Kawhi Leonard is playing on the court. This was just last season. So how could you get mad at him, PG, for saying, I'm not trusting a fucking word you say? Yeah, y'all cool, y'all good. When it comes to that money, I'm not getting fucking. You don't feel like I can get another contract somewhere else. That's what the Clippers were thinking. They felt like this dude could not get a deal nowhere else. He not only gets a deal nowhere else, but the same guy that they signed for that 2-year, $70 million deal, he goes and gets the same contract that the Sixers had, that they had on the table for James Harden. A 4-year, $212 million deal. I'm going to go to a team that appreciates my talent, my ability. Because, see, this is why I hate the fact Kawhi Leonard's been out for 4 years straight and hasn't finished. Because it's clouded people's thinking to think that because PG doesn't carry two things at one time, because initially that's what happens. I got to do two jobs at once because my sidekick, my co-host ain't around. I got to carry the weight again. Now, when I don't have the playoffs that I'm supposed to have, or I can't perform the way I'm supposed to perform, is because my sidekick ain't around. I get pretty much bamboozled, put through the coals, blamed, shitted on everything. And oh yeah, by the way, I have to wait for a contract. It's utter bullshit. And like I said before, he was going to come out and say something. Now let's see what Lawrence Frank has to say, because pretty much we ain't heard Lawrence Frank say anything. We ain't heard him say a word, except you give Ty Lue a 5-year. And this is the part, again, that frustrates me the most. This is why I get tired of the bullshit and I see right through it. Don't tell me that somebody can just take a 3-year deal and that's it. You gave Ty Lue a 5-year fucking deal as if he won some shit. Like he has had the seasons that Joe Mazzulla win a championship, or Mike Malone, or Steve Kerr, or Eric Spoelstra. You gave this dude a 5-year extension, all because, again, you heard the word Lakers and they were going to take him from you, which in reality, they couldn't even take Ty Lue from the Clippers because he still had 1 more year on his contract. But that's how paranoid this front office is. Once I seen they give this man 5 years, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? You let Daniel Craig go because he was tired of the bullshit. Patrick Beverly said something. He called the front office out. Blake Griffin called the front office out years ago. Chris Paul called the front office out years ago. That's why he wasn't coming here. You're great. The best players you've done had are the ones that you done had problems with. $5 years? Unfucking believable. So I guess Ty Lue means more to the organization than Paul George did, huh? I guess James Harden was worth more than what PG was worth initially, right? I guess see that to me, that's and you notice how they doing all these little slick shit, this passive aggressive shit. They giving him a 2-year, $7 million deal. To me, that was petty. Then you signed Nicholas Batum, who obviously PG said that was one person that we lost. You signed him, even though you knew PG was asking. Like, it seemed like it was a bunch of fuck yous when he was out the door, because they knew they fucked up. The Clippers organization, they didn't think he was gonna get a bigger deal somewhere else. Okay. So now that he did, that front office, to me, was salty. They didn't want to help him out getting to Golden State. So you don't want to pay me, but a team that wants me and wants to give me the max. Because remember, the Warriors were going to give him the same max that the Sixers were going to give him, a 4-year max. Okay, you don't appreciate me. Let me go somewhere else. and get appreciated and get paid my right value. I'm not holding this franchise hostage. Y'all gonna get players back now. Like I said, there's 2 reports. One was Jonathan Kuminga was in the deal. The other one, Jonathan Kuminga wasn't in the deal. But personally, either or, they both had their own, you know what I'm saying? There was a package out there. They didn't want to do that. So it's like, damn, like you pretty much forcing my hand where I have to pretty much leave it because now I'm feeling like I'm fighting not only, you know, I'm fighting you guys just to get what I'm supposed to get. You don't want to pay me, but you don't want nobody else to give me. So I have to get up and walk. Let me just get up out of here and walk. Like I said, man, Lawrence Frank ain't gonna say nothing. He gonna sit up there and be politically correct and say shit like we love Paul, we appreciate Paul, we appreciate the organization, we appreciate this. I'm so sick and tired of politically correct motherfuckers that don't tell it like it is. I knew he was gonna come out and say a lot of stuff. And to be quite honest with you, I didn't even get to the point where he said about Kawhi. Kawhi told him, hey, go get your money. I can't even be mad at you. You know why he can't be mad at him? Because he knows deep down inside the reason why we ain't won a championship because he ain't been on the court, which is the exact thing I've been telling everybody else in this whole time. What's been holding us up has not been Paul George, it's been Kawhi Leonard. That's not saying Kawhi Leonard is a horrible person at all. He's a very good dude. He's a very good person. Like I said before, that's my favorite player. But don't mean, here's the problem I have with some of y'all Kawhi apologists. You guys will not ever call Kawhi Leonard out for shit. Or will not put any onus on him for shit. And then you guys bring down everybody else to raise him up. He knows deep down inside, he's the reason that we ain't won no championship. BG even said in the podcast, he said the 21 year we would have won. Everybody fucking knows. But you don't want to say that because you don't want to come out and tell nobody that because you are afraid that that's going to make Kawhi Leonard look bad. It's not even about making it look bad. The man has injuries that are real, but to sit up here and say we get rid of PG, that's going to fix our problems, that is bullshit. That's utter bullshit. That's dumb. The Clippers paid Kawhi Leonard in January thinking he was going to be healthy for the rest of the season, but unfortunately, he didn't even finish. So now the Clippers have no choice but to play Paul George's money. But he's like, you know what? I'm tired of being the second option. And now I'm talking about basketball. I'm talking about you guys are not going to keep putting me in the closet, putting me on a hanger, and then putting me in the closet and taking it in and out as it keeps. Because I can't. You're too wishy-washy. I can't trust you. So now he goes to a team in Philadelphia where it's going to look different because you have a coach that knows going to know how to use them, and he's going to have a guy and a team that's going to actually be there fully. Now, what I will say about PG, I'll push back on, I do think it was about the money, even though I think it was about respect. The money and respect intertwined with one another. Like you felt at that time that you wanted the Clippers to basically put you in the same as belief as you had Kawhi Leonard, because you've done more for this organization than what Kawhi Leonard has done. And that's the truth. He has. He's not a better player, but nigga, for you to start me off at 2 years, $60 million deal, I should smack the shit out you. For you to start me at that low. He said, "Oh, ain't no hard feelings." It's not. It's very hard for me to believe that. But P ain't gonna say nothing disrespectful to the organization. He's gonna continuously say, "I love Steven, I love Lawrence Frank." But you looking at them like, what the fuck is this? You paying me like I'm just like another guy. Like, do you not realize I'm a top player for the Clippers, like Clippers history? The top 4 players in Clippers history, in my personal opinion, in this order, is Chris Paul, Paul George, Blake Griffin, Kawhi Leonard. Or Chris Paul, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Blake Griffin. That's the top 4 right there. And you're going to pay me 2 years, $60 million? But I get what the Clippers was trying to do because Paul George ain't been healthy. He wasn't healthy the last year. So they're going to try to cash him out, earlier and, by a little, which is smart, but apparently they ran to somebody else or his representation, which was outsmarting him. Again, I am starting to lose more and more faith in the Clippers front office. Now I will say I understand the business side, but dude, come on, like at the end of the day, y'all have got to see, man, like you cannot be, I don't even care if you're the biggest PG hater in the world, like Zay, which apparently that's funny to me that Zay now he's a Sixer fan, apparently. And the guy that he hates the most is on that team, which I don't know where that comes from. But being honest, there's no possible way you cannot see his point of view and say, damn, I get what he's saying. It's just, it blows my mind, bro. Again, this shit is unbelievable. I can't believe what I just heard. You mean to tell me we could not keep this man because of a no fucking trade clause? And he wasn't even he wanted the 4-year deal. He said he would take the 3-year deal, just put me on no trade clause. So that tells me again, the Clippers trying to be sneaky. And when I say the Clippers, I'm talking about Lawrence Frank. I'm talking about his advisor. I don't know who his advisor is now, trying to be fucking sneaky. Okay. Well, you sitting up there thinking that this is going to be better and this is going to somehow push our chances to a championship. I don't know what makes you think a 26-5 record is not pushing your chances. So you obviously felt, and that's why I don't like hearing about that second apron bullshit. Because like I told y'all, the Clippers now have spent more money this year than they did last year. They're at $178 million in salary cap. Last year was $174 million. Or I'm sorry, they're at $178 million after PG. They're at $174 million with PG in his last year. So they have already spent more money in salary. That's why I didn't want to hear nothing about no second apron. These organizations will tell y'all anything, and y'all will just sit up there and run with it. Now, and this is the biggest thing again, can Kawhi Leonard stay on the court? And by history, I don't see how anybody can sit here and not have that question in their mind. I believe he could do it, but I do not fault people for believing like, okay, well, damn, I ain't going to trust it. Because we keep seeing it over and over. And that's what the Clippers ran. They thought this man was going to be healthy this year. He ends up not even playing. He ends up hurting the team, even helping the team more. He comes back for 2 games in the playoffs and we lose. See, there's another thing people don't realize. With the 2 games we lost was with Kawhi Leonard on the court. I rewatched those games yesterday. I forgot how bad he looked in games 2 and 3. He went 0 for 6 from 3-point line, and he could not guard me in game 3. He was hurt. His injuries were hurting the team. And then game 4, when he ends up getting out, they win game 4. But the damage has already been done because it's like, damn, you got the team psychologically fucked because it's like 1 minute you're good, you're on the team, and then the next minute you can't play. And you come back, you're not even yourself. And the Clippers, to me, lied about that too. I don't believe Kawhi Leonard's injury was all the way healthy. I feel like they were trying to hide something, and I feel like that his knee was not all the way, the swelling wasn't all the way gone. Because how the fuck do you say I'm coming back that the swelling came back within 24 hours? That's bullshit. But yet again, this is the offense that we have to look forward to. I'm gonna still support the Clippers team, but this shit was disgusting. This shit was absolutely disgusting. It was repulsive, and it needs to be called out. I don't think Lawrence Frank should be the GM of this team. I've been saying that for the last, a little within a year. He has made so many bad moves that the Clippers have to suffer from. So that's what I have to say, man. Unfucking believable, man. I can't believe what I just heard. Now I'll catch y'all next time. What a fucking joke.
I've been all around the world, Japan to Amsterdam. Meals nutritious, lifestyle was vicious, yeah. While these out here tried to hate mine, yet I still stood tall on the main line. Two-step, throwing up their gang sign. Roll around the city, big chain, but he ain't signed. Y'all fake tough, little puffs to my canines. Don't forget cracking at them hit boy parties. Probably got your girl naked at them hit boy parties. Big chains, big flexing at them hit boy parties. Nobody trip, cause they knew I had that big boy on me. Yeah, gang of fast living, addicted to cash get. Disrespected to getting the ass whipped. Don't call yourself a baller unless your whole clan get. Plan you got, you ain't working, then you need to plan different.
This on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything.
Yeah, no need for the locks out. Baby got her box out. Just dropped her man, now she looking for that knockout. He did her wrong, then he tried to shame, baby. She just trying to bounce back, so don't blame, baby. Cause it kick her up, one time fuck her up. A true big homie, I don't hear his name enough. Went through the real movie while y'all snowed on the bluff. Gotta give it up, big homie did his stuff. Now it's all about the bag play. Been around more smoke than an ashtray. Right cheek, left cheek, let her ass shake. On God, I'm 100 to my last day. West side, east side, yeah, I'm both for that. No talking, take off, bro, I'm known for that. 50 M's on the scales, yeah, I'm close to that. Yeah, you on the same mission, yeah, I'm hoping that. Make the money overlap.
This on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Hey, this on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything.